Hey sports fans, this is Steven here for JustMyPicks.com, and I'm bringing you a special NFL Fantasy 2013 football breakdown for the top 10 wide receivers that you should look out for and that you should pick up right away. I'm going to hop right into it. We have 10 of the hottest receivers in the NFL right now. I'm going to start at number 10. Andre Johnson of the Houston Texans. He has fallen off this list a lot due to injury, due to circumstances as far as the other wide receivers moving up in the league also in their situation. Andre Johnson is a solid receiver, Hall of Fame worthy receiver at this point, because all he does is consistently year in, year out is produce big numbers. But the Houston Texans, I think, in my opinion, are going to go to more of a running style. They won't really put up a lot of numbers for Andre Johnson in the long run. I think that he will put up some good numbers, but they won't be better than a lot of the numbers we've seen from him in the past. He's still one of the top 4 or 5 best wide receivers in the NFL. Don't get me wrong. But I think that the emergence of younger wide receivers in the NFL has taken its toll, and they have not only kicked in the door, they have made themselves known with their production, with their play, and the way that their teams are performing. We're moving in at number 9, Randall Cobb of the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers has made Randall Cobb for the last season his go-to guy. When Greg Jennings was hurt, when Jordy Nelson was hurt, when all these other guys were hurt, Randall Cobb stepped up and produced for Aaron Rodgers like no other. And we've seen Randall Cobb in special teams, returning punts, returning kicks, explosive with his speed, with a lot of things that he does. And also, he creates, with his speed, a big differential of little things that go on, the nuances of corners having to hold them, picking up penalty yards. We've seen it last season where a lot of people were holding Cobb and he wasn't getting those calls. But this year, I think that he will get those calls, and Aaron Rodgers will force the ball into his hands no matter what he has to do. He has become Aaron Rodgers' go-to guy on the Green Bay Packers, and I think he'll have an outstanding year for fantasy and explode on the scene like he did a couple years ago. Coming in at number 8, Wes Welker of the Denver Broncos. Wes Welker going to Denver is a sure fit for Peyton Manning. He will produce big numbers. I don't have to go through the long list of achievements for Wes Welker and Tom Brady, but know that Peyton Manning recognizes what type of weapon he is. He came to the Denver Broncos for a reason. There's no reason why Peyton Manning will not have success with Wes Welker. The only thing I can think of is injuries, and Wes Welker takes care of his body and he does the right things on and off the field. I think this will be a solid football relationship, and I think that they will benefit big time because Wes Welker is there. Coming in at number 7, same team, different receiver, Demaryius Thomas. I think that a lot of things that I said for Wes Welker go the same for Demaryius Thomas. He's a hard worker, and for the past year, he has been working with Peyton Manning, getting those things like a Marvin Harrison or a Reggie Wayne would do, getting accustomed to what Peyton does best, knowing where he wants to put the ball, knowing where his comfortable spots of him throwing the ball on the field, and just having a great working relationship with Peyton Manning. It is hard to find any one receiver that has worked with Peyton Manning that doesn't have a solid, outstanding production throughout the season. The Denver Broncos will have an explosive offense in the 2013 season, and I think that they will be solid moving forward. Coming in at number 6, Julio Jones of the Atlanta Falcons. Julio has slowly become, in a short time frame, the best wide receiver on the Atlanta Falcons. He is not only a physical beast, he has got the best hands in the NFL right now. Massive hands that when the ball's thrown to him, he doesn't just catch it, he swallows it with those big hands. He doesn't play games with these corners. He pushes off, he does what he needs to do to get open, and Matt Ryan has made him his go-to wide receiver. Having Tony Gonzalez and Roddy White won't stop him from being double teamed, but what it will do, it will create offensive mismatches to where you have to throw to Tony, you have to throw to Roddy White early in the game, and that will create holes in the defense for Julio to produce. And when Julio produces, he doesn't just produce 2 or 3 catches a game. Julio goes crazy. Matt Ryan knows. We've seen Julio catch 11 catches in big games. We've seen him go off in playoff games. So the only thing, consistency for Matt Ryan will be the key factor for Julio Jones having more success, and I think that Julio will, within the next 2 years, possibly become the best wide receiver in the NFL, or become second best to Calvin Johnson in the NFL. Coming in at number 5, Dez Bryant of the Dallas Cowboys. Dez Bryant is one of the most talented wideouts in the NFL. We've seen him go through his troubles off the field, but it seems like he's become a better model citizen for the Dallas Cowboys and really starting to take football serious. With Tony Romo, that is his best option Dez Bryant. And you look at Jason Witten getting up there in age and not being as productive as he usually is. Dez Bryant is going to go 8 nuts when it's time to play football. We've seen his training regimen. We've seen him working out. We've seen him being with his family more. We've seen a lot of the things, and he's slowing down off the field to speed up on the field. And Dez Bryant takes football very serious now, and I might add the Dallas Cowboys have a lot of weapons at their potential use. So Tony Romo will make Dez Bryant a star and a household name coming up this next season. I think that he will improve his fantasy stats from last year and possibly even double them. Coming in at number 4, the Bengals' A.J. Green. A.J. Green, coming out of college, was known for his acrobatic catches and all those things. He's known for it in the NFL. Having Andy Dalton as his quarterback, I think that they worked out a lot of the problems that they've had in the past as far as communication, and he will show in this AFC North who's king wide receiver. Last year, Anquan Bolden took that top-notch receiver for the fantasy thing, but A.J. Green creates speed matchups. He creates so many things for the Cincinnati Bengals, and he makes their offense do what it does. He can outrun you deep. He can do the little cut scene. He can maneuver in and out of traffic. He does a lot of things good for the Cincinnati Bengals. So what I'm telling you, A.J. Green, watch out. If you don't know who he is, you will learn this year. A.J. Green is a solid wide receiver, and he also takes the game of football very serious. I think that a lot of fantasy people are sleeping on him. You possibly could take him higher on this list. If he's available in your draft and you want to take him over a running back, I would not be mad at you. But A.J. Green is one of the standout studs in the 2013 fantasy football search. Coming in at number 3, Percy Harvin. Percy Harvin is a beast with speed. You know, him returning punts as we saw last season with the Vikings, taking punts back, kick returns back for touchdowns, plus catching the ball on screens, running the ball at running back. He does a little of everything. So his value at fantasy has tripled over the last 2 years. He's does have an injury problem with the headaches, with the concussions, with the hamstring, but if you can get Percy Harvin healthy for even half a season, he will elevate your offense and he will score a lot of fantasy points because every time he touches the ball, good things happen. And it's not just dink and dunks. He's catching the ball and outrunning people for 40, 50, 60 yards. So he's a home run threat each and time he touches the ball. And with the improved blocking scheme that they have in Seattle, I trust that this wide receiving core will help him out and also free him up for a lot of mismatches in this season. Coming in at number 2, the Chicago Bears' Brandon Marshall. Even when nobody else was producing in Chicago, Jay Cutler got the ball to Brandon Marshall. He did what he did year in, year out, catching the ball, getting big yards. We've seen him set records for single season catches. We've seen him set marks for a lot of things in his career. The Chicago Bears have a deep threat in Brandon Marshall. They also have a solid over-the-middle threat. Plus, Brandon Marshall does a lot of big things. Plus, he blocks. He's unselfish. And with him getting his life together, off the field, we've seen Brandon Marshall improve his numbers and do better. Also, having Jay Cutler, his quarterback from Denver, they got along so well, and they haven't had a problem in Chicago, so I don't have a reason to drop him down on this list. I think that Brandon Marshall will improve if Jay Cutler can stay healthy in a contract year, and I think that he will do a lot of things well for the Chicago Bears. Coming in at number 1, it's no question about this. It's no debating about this. Calvin Johnson, Megatron, the beast of the NFC, and the best wide receiver in the NFL right now. A lot of people have to realize Calvin Johnson does what he does, being double team, triple team, quadruple team. It was one play last year where he jumped up and 4 people was around him. He came down, caught it, and still scored a touchdown. You can't teach freakish athletes how to do certain things. Calvin Johnson just wants the ball more. He wants it more than anybody else. And on a team last season who had no offensive weapons except Calvin Johnson, he still broke Jerry Rice's records. That tells me not only is Calvin Johnson focused, he wants to be a Hall of Fame player. He wants to win a Super Bowl with the Detroit Lions. So he is unselfish. He's quiet. He's not a diva. He comes to work, puts in work each and every day, does all the right things you want Matthew Stafford to do from a wide receiver standpoint, and he's really unselfish. He's really making the Detroit Lions relevant on offense, and I expect Calvin Johnson not only to put up great numbers this season, but also for the last 2 years we've seen him bust the radar completely open, because he's not only come on the scene and said, hey, A lot of people have doubted me. A lot of people said I can't do it. And he's not only done it one season, he's done it back to back, and he broke Jerry Rice's records. So that's why he's number one on this list. It's no debating that. It's no question about that. This has been my top 10 wideouts for JustMyPicks.com fantasy football reference. You can check us out on JustMyPicks.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at JustMyPicksTV. Also, subscribe to my videos. Check out all my archives on YouTube /JustMyPicksTV. Thank you very much, and good luck on your fantasy football season coming up.